Would you have accepted the offer if the salary had been higher? How did you manage to stay calm during the negotiations? Hadn't the proposal been thoroughly scrutinized before receiving final approval? Wasn't the outcome largely predetermined by factors beyond the team's control? I feel really tired today. I missed the bus this morning. Why did the committee reject the proposal? How did she manage to finish the project so quickly? In response to ongoing budgetary constraints, the organization will introduce a temporary resource allocation framework effective September 1st. Departments will be required to substantiate any requests for non-essential expenditures with detailed cost-benefit analyses. Routine operational expenses will continue to be processed automatically. However, discretionary spending will be subject to additional review by the Finance Committee. The Executive Board stresses that this measure is intended as a short-term corrective strategy rather than a permanent shift in fiscal policy. Nonetheless, failure to comply with the revised procedures may result in delayed approvals or outright rejection of funding requests.
The obsession with constant productivity is quietly undermining creativity.
I agree. When output becomes the sole metric, depth and originality are the first casualties.
Ironically, the pressure to optimize often produces mediocrity.
Exactly, efficiency without reflection is a dead end. If you had known about the delay, would you have taken a later flight? Why is the manager holding an emergency meeting right now? By next year, will the new policy have been implemented across all branches? Weren't you supposed to be attending the workshop this afternoon? She has been studying French for years. They had already left by the time we arrived. What were you doing when the power went out? By 2030, electric vehicles will have become much more common. He wouldn't keep forgetting his keys if he put them in the same place. The report is being reviewed by the legal team as we speak.
Today's lecture focuses on multitasking and why it may not be as effective as many people believe. In modern society, multitasking is often seen as a valuable skill, especially in academic and professional settings. However, psychological research suggests that performing multiple tasks at the same time can reduce overall efficiency and accuracy. The human brain, contrary to popular belief, does not truly perform tasks simultaneously. Instead, it switches rapidly between tasks. Each switch requires mental effort, which increases cognitive load. As a result, people are more likely to make mistakes, particularly when tasks are complex or require problem solving. Researchers have also found that multitasking negatively affects memory. When attention is divided, information is less likely to be transferred from short-term memory to long-term memory. This explains why students who study while checking messages often struggle to recall what they have learned. Interestingly, people who frequently multitask tend to overestimate their ability to do so effectively. Studies show that heavy multitaskers are more easily distracted and perform worse on attention-related tasks than those who focus on one activity at a time. That said, not all multitasking is harmful. Combining a demanding task with an automatic one, such as listening to music while cleaning, usually does not reduce performance. Problems arise mainly when two tasks compete for the same mental resources. In summary, while multitasking may feel productive, it often leads to lower quality results. Focusing on one task at a time is generally a more effective strategy for learning and decision-making.
My phone is about to shut down. Could you pick up the package for me? Can you send this email today? My internet connection keeps dropping. Sorry, I'm running late. Thank you for helping me. Wasn't the policy revised to address those concerns more comprehensively? Hadn't the researcher already accounted for that variable in the final analysis? Did you manage to finish the project before the deadline? All students are reminded that the university cafeteria will undergo a temporary renovation starting February 20th. During this period, several new menu options will be introduced, including more vegetarian and vegan choices. Seating capacity will be slightly reduced, and students are encouraged to visit during off-peak hours to avoid long waits. Additionally, the cafeteria will implement a new digital ordering system. Students can place orders through the university app and pick them up at designated counters. The renovations are expected to be completed by March 15th, after which the cafeteria will fully reopen with the updated facilities and expanded menu.
Have you seen the latest report on urban mobility? The findings are quite alarming.
I glanced at it briefly. Are you referring to the projections on traffic congestion or the environmental impact?
Both, actually. The report argues that without significant investment in public transport, urban centers will become increasingly unsustainable within a decade.
That's a bold claim. But given recent budget cuts, Do you think authorities will act decisively?
That's precisely the concern. Policy inertia could exacerbate the problem, particularly since the report emphasizes long-term consequences rather than immediate crises.
I suppose framing it as a near-future threat might pressure policymakers, though there's always the risk that the warnings are dismissed as overly theoretical.
Indeed, the challenge is to convey urgency without triggering skepticism. Public engagement campaigns could be pivotal in bridging that gap.
Agreed. If citizens demand action, governments are far more likely to allocate resources efficiently.
Exactly. The report essentially calls for a paradigm shift in how urban mobility is planned, proactive, adaptive, and evidence-based.
Let's hope the findings translate into tangible policies rather than remaining another academic exercise. Do you really think rapid automation will benefit the workforce in the long run?
Only if it's accompanied by meaningful reskilling. Otherwise, it risks deepening inequality.
That's true. Efficiency without foresight often creates problems it claims to solve.
Exactly. Progress isn't inherently positive. It depends on how responsibly it's managed.
Could you reserve a seat for me? Can you remind me about the meeting? My laptop is running very slowly. It's very cold in this room. Why did the flight get delayed? What does the company plan to do next year? I regret to inform you that your application was unsuccessful. Wasn't the agreement deliberately structured to allow for future renegotiation? Hadn't the speaker implicitly acknowledged the flaw during the closing remarks? Attention all students. The university library will extend its hours during final exam week. From Monday to Friday, the library will be open from 7 a.m. until midnight. Additional study rooms will be available on a first-come, first-served basis, and free coffee will be provided after 8 p.m. Please remember to bring your student ID to enter the building late at night. Urban green spaces and mental health. Good afternoon, everyone. Today, I'd like to talk about the role of urban green spaces in improving mental health. As cities grow more crowded and fast-paced, concerns about stress, anxiety, and overall well-being have increased. Researchers have begun to study how access to natural environments within cities can help address these issues. Urban green spaces include parks, community gardens, tree-lined streets, and even small green rooftops. Studies show that people who live near these spaces tend to experience lower levels of stress and improved mood. One reason is that natural settings encourage physical activity, such as walking or cycling, which is already known to benefit mental health. Another important factor is attention restoration. In urban environments, people are constantly exposed to noise, traffic, and digital screens, all of which demand focused attention. Green spaces, on the other hand, provide a calmer environment that allows the brain to recover from mental fatigue. This process helps improve concentration and memory over time. Social interaction also plays a role. Parks and public gardens serve as gathering places where people can meet others, reducing feelings of isolation. This is especially important for elderly residents and people who work from home, who may otherwise have limited social contact. However, the benefits of green spaces are not evenly distributed. In many cities, wealthier neighborhoods have more parks and better maintained green areas, while lower income areas often lack them. Because of this, urban planners are increasingly focusing on equitable access to green spaces as a public health strategy. In conclusion, urban green spaces are more than just aesthetic features. They contribute significantly to mental well-being by reducing stress, restoring attention, and encouraging social interaction. As cities continue to expand, integrating nature into urban design will become even more